All right, and so today, guys, we're gonna go through a practice. And we're gonna go through 3 parts of this practice contest a little bit. So review what you guys have done before. Hopefully you're practicing your parts at home and you'll be able to answer them. Then I'm gonna send you, I'm gonna email you documents with all the scorecards. That way you can print the scorecards at home. You have to use those scorecards to fill out, and then you can do your electronic scorecards and email them to me after your contest has been completed. And so let's go through the parts of this contest we're going to review. We're going to start with parts. Part number 1, what do you think this one is, Owen?
The thigh.
This one is a thigh.
Drumstick.
Yep, drumstick. You guys ought to be able to know that looks like a chicken leg.
The back.
No. Remember, be thinking when you see this one, look at how big it is. It covers a large portion of the plate. Think this light colored meat, and it looks squishy. So that means it's kind of be boneless. That's right, boneless breast. Good job. 4.
Giblets.
That is a giblet.
Oh, the whole breast.
All right, see how big it is, and so we know it covers the plate, and it's right. It is the whole breast. So now we're looking at egg candling. So we're going to look at these eggs and see if we can get the right grade on these.
Double A.
Double A.
B.
Yeah, that one is a B.
Double A.
Double A.
That one is a
That one is an A.
A.
Another A. Ready to go on to broken out eggs. Do just the same thing.
B.
B.
A.
An A.
Double A.
Double A. So you guys can definitely see the difference in the egg so far.
Double A.
Yep. And one more.
B.
Good job. All right. So I'm going to go over and pick another presentation. We're going to go through these hens really quick, and this is just to practice hen placing. There's not 4 of these. There's only 3 of them, but we're going to take time and look at them, review them, and then you guys can tell me the placing at the end. And so as you look through these, we got 3 hens, and so we know we're looking at different ones. One's got a blue band, a red band, a green band, and they're numbered 1, 2, and 3. So they're going to show us the picture of the pigment loss around the eyes and the beak. We can see how white the beak is, but we notice we still have pigment in the legs, and notice there's a little bit of pigment loss between the toes, but the leg is still got lots of color. The red one, we notice it's completely bleached around the eye loop here is all gone. No hardly any red. The actually comb and wattles lost some, and then look how much is left the beak. And then look at the legs, pretty much all white. Then we look at the green one. We've lost some around the eyes. We still have just a tad bit of color at the edge corner of the beak. But look at the legs. We've lost it on one leg and right here on the top. The toes are kind of bleached in between the toes, but this one's still carrying color. So now we have to make a decision between the 3. And so which one is, so we have to pick our placings over here on the right. So is it going to be 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, or 3, 1, 2? How do you place them?
2, 3, 1.
The placing's 2, 3, 1. Good job. That is correct. All right. So now we've talked about all those things. Is we're going to pull up. I'm going to show you the cards for what we have looked at so far. So first we're going to look at the this is your placing card that you can see here. You'll be able to write your name and county on it. Hopefully if you've got a printer at home, when you get the email file, you print this off. And during the presentation of the contest, you'll be able to look at those 4 hens and then you'll be able to mark them. And maybe like that last one, it was 2, 3, 1, and then if we had 4 of them, it would be number 4. So it was 2, 3, 1, 4. We would mark this box or leave it blank. So you'll be able to mark it with a pencil at home, and then come back with your electronic file and type in your name and county, and then mark your box. Email it to me. Say when you email it, put your name on it, and then that way I make sure I've got the correct scorecard with your name on it at the end of the contest. Okay, we're going to look at another one. So we done egg candling a while ago. So let's look at egg candling. And when we candle the eggs, you will see, you'll look at, say, when they're labeled egg number 1, you pick the quality, and then that's the one that you mark, AA, A, B, or inedible. And you'll be able to print this card and mark it with paper. But when you're then, if you're going to mark it, we'll say egg A was a AA. We would just put an X in the box, and we would move on to the next one. The key thing with our scorecards, especially on candling and broken out eggs, and any of the others, is when we select quality. If it is one that we don't know about, select the one that's in the middle. And so if you're a torn, is it AA, A, B? I don't know. Mark A, because what happens if you're one off? If it was a AA and you marked an A, you only lose 3 points. But if it was a AA and you marked a B, you lose 6 points. And so make sure that you mark in the middle. If you have to guess, mark an A. All right, we're going to look at one more scorecard. We're going to look at the broken out. We're going to look at the parts. And so when you do the chicken parts, then the direction, it says you will only name 10 of the 17 parts will be identified. You will not use any number twice. So your parts on the contest will be numbered 1 through 10. And so if I'm looking at it and I decide, oh, well, part number 1 is the drumstick, I will put a number 1 in there. Well, number 2 was the breast quarter. Then number 3 was a thigh. Maybe 4 was a giblets. And so you just so on, you number those, you put the number that you think that part is beside it when you fill out your scorecard. And then the last part that we've talked about so far is the broken out eggs. So when you do the broken out eggs, it's the same thing. You got AA, A, and B. Just remember, if you don't have if you're questioning yourself, or if you don't feel confident, and if it's a AA or if it's a B, well, then mark an A. You'll lose fewer points if you do that. And so, but the same thing, you just mark which one you think it is, put an X in it. Maybe the next one's an A, put an X, and this one's a AA, and the next one's a B, and so on and so forth until you fill out all the scorecard. And up here at class, just make sure you usually put your name or something, indicate that on your scorecard. So I have all your scorecards with names on them. All right, and so now we're going to move on. This time we're going to move on to the next part that we haven't looked at yet. Is going to be looking at exterior quality for these eggs. And so when we grade exterior quality, we're looking at, when we're grading exterior quality, one of the things that we look at, we have to pay attention to, when doing exterior quality, we have to pay attention to the area of the surface that is covered. And so there we have 3 grades. We have a grade A, a grade B, and a dirty. If you ever buy eggs at the grocery store, they will say grade A on them. That means they're usually clean. There's no cracks or deformities in that egg. And so they're judging based on the exterior, and hopefully that they've candled those eggs. and they know that they meet that same quality. And so if we notice, look at our definitions. A grade A is a clean, unbroken egg, practically normal in shape, no ridges, rough spots that do not materially detract from the appearance of an egg are okay. And so when I give you the poultry judging manual, we have to look at these. And so we have and so when we look at them, they need to be unbroken, no cracks. They can't have any waves, what we call body checks. And so what happens is they get misshapen. It produces ridges. It produces thin spots in the shell. Those things happen. Well, then it doesn't look like an egg that we buy in the grocery store. And so if an egg is kind of long and skinny, it doesn't look like an egg in the grocery store. If an egg is round like a golf ball, it's not like an egg that we should see in the grocery store. It should have a normal egg shape. And then that normal egg shape should be kind of small on one end, more rounded on the other. It's got to have a normal shape. Then it should only have very minimal stains. And so when I say minimal stains, we'll see some in a minute. This has a few little brown spots. It looks kind of like a coffee stain. And it shouldn't have anything stuck to it. If there's anything stuck to that egg, it becomes a dirty. So like when you first pick your eggs up, if you have eggs at home and it's got maybe has some little chicken poop on it, or maybe an eggshell stuck to it, or a feather stuck to it. If there's anything stuck to it, it becomes a dirty egg. Any prominent stains or moderately stained, if it's more than a B grade, then it is a dirty egg. And so, well, what makes a B egg? And so we have to go back and look at what those qualifications, what it says they are. And so your poultry judging manual should tell you exactly what you have. And so make sure you read that manual, and then we're going to look at some pictures in just a second, and we'll kind of define that. But it always defines it by the portion of the egg that's covered. And so if you look at that portion, remember, when you look at this egg, it's going to be a picture of it sitting on a carton. And you're only going to be able to see half of it, just like you're only able to see one side of this egg right here. Well, if you know that if you're looking at half of, if you draw a line through the center, okay, that's half of it, but really that's only a fourth because you can't see the other side. So then if you cut that portion in half again, if we was to cut it in half here, this portion would be an eighth over here. And then if you cut that eighth in half, then this would be a 16th. And then in the 16th cut in half, this part will be a 32nd. So it's very, very important that we understand how much of an egg is actually colored, covered or stained or got something stuck to it. Here's that manual. As you guys can look in that manual, we'll talk about what makes the quality portion of the egg. So let's go on to our next slide. So now let's look at this. There's some things on this picture. This is egg number one we're going to talk about. So you have these little raised bumps. Those are calcium deposits. Then we have a few little specks on here that make it stained. But how much of that does that part of that, Owen, do you think that covers a 16th of that eggshell?
What?
Do you think that covers more than 1/16 of that eggshell? No. So I don't think so either. So even the little calcium deposits and things on there, does it detract from the egg? Does that look like a good egg or no?
It looks like a good
Okay. So there's nothing stuck to it. And so we look at stains, clean, may show a few slight, but it's got to be less than 1/32 or scattered less than a 16th. So I think this one is probably maybe an A or a B. So we'll have to see when we get to the next slide. All right, so this one, what about this one, guys? Does this look rough? It's got, does it have something wrong with it?
Yes.
It has ridges. Yes, look, it has ridges. It looks like it's real wavy. So this one is definitely a B. It's not cracked or broken, but it's a B because it detracts, it's misshapen. What about this one?
That when I was got cracked.
No, well, it does. It's not really a crack. It's just a little mark on it. So this one is definitely an A. That looks almost like a good egg with that one little exception. What about that one?
Just,
A, but the shape's a little different, but that does not too much. It's still an A. What about this one? You see these ridges, all this stuff going on at the end? That one's definitely going to be a B. What about that one?
it's cracked.
Or is it? It's not a crack.
It's a,
What do we see stuck to it?
oh,
We have a large calcium deposit here. It's not something, but this is actually a very large calcium deposit. And so this calcium deposit on the side of it makes it a B. And so that is a large calcium deposit. What about that one?
that's a double A. So
Well, you have an A, you have A, B, or dirty is what you have on this one. So this one's an A. Yep.
that one's A.
Looks maybe like an A. A little bit round though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it looks like an A. Oh, what about this stain, guys?
It's not.
Is that more than a 32nd of that one side of that egg?
Yes.
Yep, that one's probably dirty. And 10, that's gonna
It's be a B.
be a B. Well, what do we see on this one? There's two things wrong.
It's like a golf.
It looks like a golf ball and
and
a
calcium.
calcium deposit. That's definitely a B. B.
A B is longer.
No. No, this one's an A, guys. Nothing's wrong with this one. This one's an A. Now, this one's definitely got something stuck on it. It's part of another egg. So anything stuck to the shell makes it what?
A dirty.
A dirty. Good job. And then 15 is another A. 16, we're looking at this one. This one is what we call has a body check in it. May show pronounced body checks, but it's not cracked. That's a B. This is, see this line in it? You can definitely see a line with little breaks off from each end. Makes it a B. 17, what's this big nasty mess? That's calcium deposit. The shape is wrong. So this makes it a what?
A B.
A B.
That's a B.
A B. We got stuff stuck on the end of it. That's going to be
A dirty.
30.
A.
Hey, good job. Oh, and so we looked at them. Here's how we graded those. If we go back and look over these, we'll go back and I'll repost this in just a minute and share this, guys, with you. And so let's look back. It's 20 isn't. Let's go back and look at that very first egg all the way to the front of the slideshow. It was dirty, and what made that dirty was all the parts in it. It's all this stuff. See, there's so many calcium deposits, and nothing looks really bad, but there's so many little things, they add up more than a B, and it makes it dirty. That one was a B because of this one's a B because of this small body check. And then there, that egg right there is our first A egg. Oh, I went too fast. So, and then the last one was an A. So guys, we have to study that chart that's in our book. We have to study this chart right here. You have to study this chart and then be able to look at those pictures and flip through that slideshow. I will send you that slideshow so you can flip through there and see for yourself and compare it to what the chart says. So we have those ridges and shell textures, may have rough areas and small deposits that do not materially affect the shape. But if it's extremely rough, it may affect the soundness, and it makes it a B. And anything that makes it that may be more than a B, then it's going to make it an A. Anything stuck to it automatically makes it a dirty. Any large stains, if they're all in one spot and they're all touching, has to be pretty large and makes it 1/32. So remember that picture that I showed you. And so as we post this, I want you guys to pay attention to the things that are on the eggshell, and especially those prominent spots, those prominent ridges, those calcium deposits, and know these criteria. You have to look over these criteria when we look at eggs. So I will share that with you so you guys can practice more at home. And then I'm gonna go over here. We're gonna open up another part of the scorecard and show you the scorecard for doing the exterior quality as well. So here's our exterior quality. It's the same as the others, A, B, and dirty. Make sure that you mark the appropriate section. So if it's A, mark A. If it's B, mark B, or dirty. If you have to guess, then mark the B in the middle. You'll have a smaller deduction. Somewhere on this, she didn't leave anywhere for your name. Make sure that you save it with your name in the title when you emailed it to me. So hopefully on Thursday I'll have more instructions, and then we only have one more part to go over. And so when we go over this section, the part that we haven't done yet is the dress market. I will cover it on Wednesday afternoon. I'll cover that. And so after we cover that Wednesday afternoon, I'll have a practice contest that you guys can maybe practice filling out your scorecard a little bit. We won't do a full contest. We only run through about 5 of each part. The hardest part I save until the last, because it's the hardest for me to coach, the hardest for me to teach, and by far the hardest to do online with pictures is the dress market. That's where we're looking at a whole poultry carcass, and it'll be hanging up, and we have to look at all the defects that may be on that carcass. If you guys have questions, please email me or call me. I will go over this, but hopefully you can review practice as we go through the week. and know, as you look through these eggs, I know I went through them quickly on your PowerPoint. Is when we look through those exterior quality, as we look through these, we'll go back through them and just really quick and talk about them. So when we look at that chart that I had displayed up there, we look at this chart and compare it to what's on the other page. We look at the chart and we compare it to the eggs. We have to, so when you practice, have your chart out, look at your chart. That way you can help know your chart very well. And then look at those. So we know that we got, hey, this one's got lots of small calcium deposits and a couple of stains. That's going to be a B. Well, this one, we know the shape's wrong and it's got all these ridges. It's a B. This one has this small body check in it with this little wavy crack. It's a B. Then number 4, hey, that looks like a normal egg at the grocery store. It's an A. And you'll do the same thing as you go through the contest and you look at, if it looks normal, looks good and clean, it's probably going to be an A. We got ridges, it's a B. Got this one, well, what is this one? Oh, I don't see anything wrong. Oh, there it is. There's what's wrong. We got that large calcium deposit, which is hard to see. That makes it a B. 7. Oh, that's an A. I don't see anything wrong. 8. Probably an A. I don't see anything wrong. Nothing wrong. Maybe the shape's a little off, but not too bad. Definitely 9 is a dirty. We have this large stain. The shape is all off with this large calcium deposit. It's going to be a B. This one here with another large calcium deposit and it's misshapen, a B. All the ridges is a B. There's another good egg. Oh, it's going to be an A. This one's got something stuck to it. Definitely dirty. Anything stuck is going to be dirty. This one looks normal again, an A. This one here, we got to be a B. We have a body check. You definitely see the little wavy cracks where it may have affected the integrity of the egg. Large calcium deposit here. It's going to be a B. Misshapen with a large calcium deposit is a B. We have one with a large stain on the end of it. Just on the end is, I think that's something stuck to it. Actually looks like dirt. And so that one makes it dirty. And then the last one, we have just a small calcium deposit or two. That one's an A. So there you go, guys. We went through them again, talked about them just a little bit, but have that chart on hand when you do that. And I will visit with you guys, and I'll send you the email with all the scorecards. I'll send you this PowerPoint presentation so you can click through it. So good luck. I'll visit with you on Wednesday afternoon, and the contest is Thursday evening.